We'll come to a comfortable seat and begin to settle in. Feel the sit bones rooting down into the earth like they could grow branches. As you feel that rooting begin to grow a little taller. And feel the collarbones widen like branches branching out, almost like they could lift a little into a little smile. And take the head back just slightly in space so that the crown of the head is lined up directly over the tailbone. And bring one hand to the heart and one hand to the belly. Start to take a few breaths, and feeling the breath go all the way down into the belly with every inhale. So you inhale through the belly first, then feel the collarbones, the ribs and the collarbones up last, up near the hand, near your heart. And then exhale from that collarbone rib area and then from the heart. As you inhale, imagine the energy moving up your body, like an upward pointing triangle. As you exhale, imagine it going back down like a downward pointing triangle. As you inhale, reach the arms up overhead. You can interlace the fingers if you'd like, or just plant the palms together. And then we'll just take a nice easy bend over towards the right, rooting down that left sit bone, firmly down into the ground. And then reaching a little bit taller through the arms. We take one more breath here. As you exhale, coming back to center, take a breath. Exhale, bend towards the left, rooting down into the right sit bone, and then reaching a little bit taller through the arms. Take note of where the head is in space, keeping the ears lined up over the shoulders. And notice if your arms need to move to do that. No problem. We'll let the arms move a little. And take another breath. And then bring it back up to center. And bring the hands back down to rest on your thighs or your knees. As you inhale, draw the chest forward. Pull the shoulder blades together. A little seated cat-cow. Looking up and forward. As you exhale, begin to round through the spine, tipping the tailbone back and then dipping the chin. Inhale, reach the heart forward, letting the chin come up slightly here, and then pressing the elbows back. And then round through the spine with your exhale, tipping the tailbone all the way back, rounding through the whole spine. Inhale one more time as we reach forward with the heart and press the elbows back, shoulder blades joining. And exhale, widen through the shoulder blades as we tip back, dipping the chin deeply here. And making our way back to center. And then switch the legs. whichever leg you had in front. We'll give them a little swap. As you inhale, get up a little bit taller, reaching through the crown of the head, collarbones lift, shoulders remain comfortably loose. With your next exhale, we'll twist over towards the right, bringing the right hand down behind you to press down into the ground, and left hand alongside your knee. We'll take a few breaths in this twist. With every inhale, feeling the crown rise a little bit taller. With every exhale, a little bit deeper into the twist. A couple breaths here. As you exhale, bring it back through center. Take a breath to wiggle and jiggle it out a bit. And then with your next inhale, we'll get taller and longer first. And then as you exhale, we'll twist over towards the left. Pressing down into the left hand to help lift you a little bit taller, even as you continue to root down through the sit bones. Having the twist come from the rib cage, not so much from the head and neck. Keep the ears lined up over the shoulders as we take a few breaths here. Feeling into the expansion of the twist. On your next exhale, bring it back to center. Wiggle and jiggle out a little. Bring the feet, the soles of the feet to touch. Coming into our butterfly. Adjust as needed for your comfort here. Grab at the ankles or the shins. You can rock a little side to side in this one or stay still, your choice. To explore the butterfly pose. Use the hands to help continue to draw forward. And keep pulling those shoulder blades back a little bit, even as we rock. And then take the feet out wide into a V. And lift the toes up towards the face. Even the pinky toes, lining up the pinky toe to reach right up. And we'll inhale and get a little bit taller and longer through the spine again. And as you exhale, just hinge slightly forward. Keeping a flat back at first. Just coming to that place where you can still feel long through the back. We'll take a few breaths with our long spine. And then we'll go ahead and round over all the way into a wide-legged forward bend, reaching the arms out actively forward. We're coming onto your fingertips. And take a few breaths here. Keeping both sit bones rooted evenly. Notice if one is slightly lifted. And see if we can press down into both sit bones. I'm dropping the head and the shoulders. I'm just resting the hands now comfortably in front of you without reaching, to give the spine a little time to unwind any tension through the upper back. If this is very uncomfortable on the neck, you can go ahead and come up to a straight back. But otherwise, we'll take a few breaths, round it over, and work to really unfurl any tension that may have built up throughout the upper back and the shoulders and into the neck.
With every exhale, see if the shoulders will release just a little bit more. Then very slowly and gently walk the hands back up. Bring the left foot in and turn to face the right foot. Keeping the toes, even the pinky toe, straight up so our inner thighs are slightly rotated in. Inhale, reach up. And exhale, hinge at the hips again. So keeping that long back as long as possible. Maybe scooting a little bit back, sliding back on those sit bones a little bit, tilting the pelvis. And then when you reach that point where the low back wants to curve, go ahead and round forward all the way over to the right knee. And we'll take a few breaths on this side. Keeping the right leg rotated inwardly. The hands comfortably alongside the leg or on top of the leg. As you inhale, reach back up, slowly walking back up. And we'll take the left foot out long and then swap. Bring the right foot in to the left thigh. Turn to face the left toes and dial that left leg inward so that those pinky toes are shooting straight up for the sky. And as you inhale, we'll reach up again. Lifting the crown up as if you could separate it from your body. Exhale, hinging at the hips. Keeping that long flat back as long as possible, even if that's just a few inches. Maybe scooting back on the sit bones a little bit. And then allowing yourself to round forward on this side. And take a few breaths on this side. Observing any differences you might notice here. Places that feel a little bit different into the stretch. Finding places where you can release any tension. And trusting that it's okay to release a little bit more. On your next inhale, ground into the sit bones to lift all the way back up. Reach up through the hands. And exhale, float the hands back down. We'll slide over to seated with the feet out long on the mat. Then bring the palms behind you, fingertips facing your hips. Press the feet down into the mat, bending at the knees. As you inhale, lift up the hips into a little reverse tabletop. We'll take a few breaths here, pressing down into the feet, pressing down into all 10 knuckles, engaging through the glutes to help lift you a little bit higher, engaging through the belly, and opening up through the shoulders. Feel the shoulders widening through the front body. Exhale, lower through the hips. And come back to seated with the knees in front of you for just a moment. And take a minute to wiggle and jiggle it out. And then rotate yourself to come to all fours. Onto our tabletop. With the shoulders over the hands and the hips over the knees.
As we go into our cat-cow flow, we'll inhale and drop the belly and look forward, pull the shoulder blades together. As you exhale, we'll take the hips over towards the right first, and then all the way down to the heels and round through. Making little circles. And then to the left, and then back up. So we'll keep going just like that. Inhale, drop the belly, look forward. Exhale, take the hips in a big circle, down, around, and back up. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, hips down, around, and up. With your next exhale, we'll reverse the circle, taking it the opposite direction as you go down and around. And continue on that side for 2 more rounds with your breath. Inhaling into cow pose. And exhale, rotating through the hips. And bring it back to center. This time we'll curl the toes under, lift the hips high and back, and find our downward facing dog. Pedal out through the feet for our first down dog. Pressing one heel down, then the other. Then bend both knees very generously, like they're just going to hover over the mat. And then lift the hips a little higher, sending the navel towards the knees. Getting a little bit more into the shoulders here. Pressing all 10 knuckles down into the mat firmly, especially through the index finger and thumb. And then once you find that place, then slowly begin to straighten through the knees and lower the heels, keeping that long back feeling through the back and the shoulders. Slowly walk the feet up to meet the hands. Find our forward fold. We'll take any movements here, a little side to side sway, little figure eights or circles. We'll rotate through the wrists or grasp opposite elbows. Take a few breaths in your forward fold. On your next inhale, come halfway up, hands to the shins or to the thighs. Draw the elbows into the side body. Take a breath here. As you exhale, back down to forward fold. Inhale, lift all the way up, reach for the sky. As you exhale, take the arms out. Angle, hinge at the hips, swan dive all the way back down, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, long through the back of the neck. Exhale, forward fold. Plant the palms, send the left foot back. Pause here for just a moment. Right knee over right ankle. Left knee lifted, press through that left heel. Rocking a little side to side into this hip. And plant the palms, send the right foot back, come to a plank pose, wide through the shoulders, and tucking the pelvis as if you're going to round through the low back. Ears over the shoulders, keep that long plank as you shift forward on the toes. Send the elbows back and lower slowly. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, all the way to the belly. Inhale, lift the shoulders and the head, cobra. Exhale, bring it back down. Tuck the toes.
Use your exhale to press yourself up through plank and then downward facing dog. Take a breath to recalibrate, reset. Inhale, slide the left foot forward. Align the left knee over the left ankle. And we'll work to straighten through the left knee and press the right knee and press the right heel back in space. We'll rock a little side to side into this side. Lifting up through the navel, lifting it up away from the thigh. Then slide the right foot up to meet the left, back to forward fold. Shake the head loose, shoulders drop. Inhale, halfway lift, long, straight back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reach all the way up, extended mountain pose, reaching for the sky. Exhale, send the hips back as you float back down, forward fold. Plant the palms, take one foot back, then the other foot back. Then the hips high and back, downward facing dog. Notice if this down dog feels any different. Just observing. Rotating the shoulders outward, rotating the thighs inward. And shifting forward, shoulders to shift back into plank. We'll pause here, wide through the shoulder blades. We'll take the right knee and bring it up to the right elbow, keeping that plank in the shoulders and then back out. Then left knee to left elbow, hugging up through the abs, and then back to plank. One more on each side, right knee to right elbow, and back, and left knee to left elbow. You can take it to the outside and just let it rest there, and then back. Then lift the hips back high again, downward facing dog. Take a moment here, and then lift the right foot up, three-legged dog, dialing the pinky toes straight down, hips in alignment. Then draw the knee in and bring the right foot all the way up to the hands. Take the left foot out a little wide and then plant the left heel down. Align the right knee over the right ankle. And as you're ready, inhale and sweep the arms up into warrior one. Pressing into the pinky toe edge of the back foot. We'll take a breath here. Finding our strong warrior. As you exhale, we'll cartwheel the left hand back, open up to the left to come into warrior two. Letting the shoulders drop down away from the ears. Hugging up through the belly and lifting the crown of the head straight up, head over heart, heart over pelvis. And then bring the right forearm to the right knee. We'll inhale, lift up through the left fingertips, find our side angle. We'll take a breath here. Lifting from the left rib cage so that we're not dumping into the right shoulder or the right knee. You can even have the hand just resting on the inside of the left thigh, shin, calf, if comfortable. We'll take another breath here, opening up through that left shoulder. And as you inhale, have that breath come from the left fingertips to lift you up back to warrior two. Look over the right fingers for a moment. Line up the right knee so that it's pointing right to the second toe. Then we'll flip the right palm, reach towards the right, and then bring it up and overhead, our reverse warrior. Take the left hand all the way down to the thigh, let it rest comfortably over the long leg. And then reaching back over towards the left leg. And we'll take another breath on this side. Maybe looking up at your fingers or down at your feet. And then come all the way back up through Warrior Two. Take a breath in our Warrior. And then cartwheel the fingers back to frame the right foot. Slide the right toes back. We'll come back to our plank pose. We'll take a breath here. Find that ears over shoulders alignment, hugging the navel to the spine. As you exhale in one long line, we'll slowly lower all the way down to the belly. Inhale, lift up into Cobra, maybe a little bit higher this time. And exhale, float the forehead back down. We'll take the fingertips out wide into our little spidey fingers. As we inhale, lifting up to Cobra, pressing the tops of the feet down. Kneecaps lifted, chin dips here, tucking it in, long through the back of the neck. Exhale, lower. We'll do two more. Inhale, lift. Hugging up through the navel. Exhale, lower. One more with your inhale. Exhale brings you back down. Bring the hands in line with the ribs. Tuck the toes. As you exhale, press back up through all fours or straight to plank. And then downward facing dog. Hips lifting up high to the sky. We'll take a breath and reset. Then lift the left leg up into our three-legged dog. Pinky toes dialed down. Bend the knee, bring the left foot all the way up to the hands. And take the right foot out a little wider. And then plant that right heel down. We'll set up for Warrior One on this side, lining up the left knee over the left ankle. And inhale, lift up, reach up, find our Warrior One. Exhale, let the shoulders relax and press into the pinky toe edge of the right foot. Reaching up through the armpits. Keeping the ears over the shoulders once more. And keeping the navel pulling up and in. As you exhale, cartwheel the right hand back over the right leg. Open up to the right. Find our Warrior Two on this side. Bringing the right shoulder over the right hip. And take a few breaths in our Warrior Two. Checking in with that left knee. Keeping it over, pointing at that second toe. Lining up over the ankle. And then we'll bring the left forearm down to the left knee and reach up through the right fingertips. Find our extended side angle on this side. Stacking the shoulders, right shoulder over left shoulder. And we'll take a few breaths here. Feeling the right rib cage lift up. You can look up towards the right hand or down towards the foot. Whichever is more comfortable on your neck right now. With your inhale, we'll use the right fingertips to pull you up like a string all the way back up to our Warrior Two. Take a breath to let the shoulders glide down the back body. Then flip the left palm, reach towards the left first, and then take it up and overhead and reach it towards the right. Into our reverse warrior. Left knee still bent. And shoulders still stacked. Take a breath on this side. Feeling into the neck again and noticing where it wants to go. Just being mindful of the neck and where it is in space. And then using the left hand, bringing you back up to our warrior two. Looking over the left fingertips for another breath and pressing into both feet as if you're going to rip the mat apart. Engaging firmly through both inner thighs. And cartwheel the arms all the way back to the left foot. Frame the left foot. Pivot on the back foot. Slide the left foot back. Plank pose. Rotating the shoulders outward. Take a breath. And then slowly descend all the way down to the mat. Inhale, lift up, cobra. Exhale, float back down. Take a breath, curl the toes. Exhale, press yourself up through all fours to plank, then downward facing dog. And pressing into that index finger and the thumb. Keeping the navel lifting up away from the thighs and creating space. And then slide the right foot forward. Back to our lunge. And we'll inhale, sweep the arms up, find our high lunge. Hips facing forward, so sliding the right hip back a little. Left hip forward. Bending the knee, the left knee down, hovering just a few inches above the mat. Find your center of gravity. Find that place where the left hip is in line with the right hip, and then straighten that back knee, keeping that hip alignment. Exhale, bring the hands down to the right foot. Pause here and we'll heel toe the right foot off the mat, so the right toes are off the mat. Getting into a little bit of a deeper lizard pose here, so you can bring that left knee down or you can keep it lifted. And then we'll rock side to side into our lizard pose. A little bit deeper this time, perhaps. Maybe making little circles with the hips or rocking and rolling into one place that feels like it needs it a little bit more. Then take the right foot out a little bit in front of you here. Just like slide it forward. I'm straightening through the knee a little bit. And then take the left hand out wide, maybe off the mat. Right arm up and overhead. Twist open towards the right. And we'll take a breath. And exhale, bring it back down. And bring the hands back around the right foot. And this time we'll heel toe that right foot in to the center. And then walk it over towards the left hand. And bring it in, bend the right knee. So we're coming into pigeon from a slightly different place than usual. So you can swim that right foot maybe all the way into the thigh. Bring it comfortably down to the ground. Just like resting on the outside of that right ankle. And here's a good place where you can use a block or a pillow up under your hips. I'll grab my pillow or blanket right here. Slide that under the hips. And we'll stay lifted in our pigeon, or you can come down onto the forearms.
Whichever is calling to you today in your hip stretch. Once you find that comfortable place, whether you stay up on your hands or you come down to your forearms, either way, up to you. And then we'll take a few breaths there. You can plop a block up under your forehead here also. Or use any pillows or props that are comfortable and available. Take a few more breaths. On your next exhale, walk your hands back up. Remove any props that you may have had on this side. We'll slide the right knee back, coming into all fours first, and tick-tock through the hips. Rock them a little side to side. And come back to tabletop. Tuck through the toes, lift the hips, back to downward facing dog. And take a breath and notice and observe what's going on through the low body and the shoulders. Then slide the left foot forward. Well, first we'll find our high lunge again on this side. So left knee over left ankle, and then inhale, press through that foot to reach up, finding our high lunge. Lowering through the right knee to hover just a few inches above the mat. Find that hip alignment, so sliding the left hip back, the right hip forward. Hips are in line, left to right. And then keeping your center of gravity and slowly beginning to straighten through the right knee. Exhale, bring the hands down to frame the left foot. Walk the foot out wide, coming into our lizard pose on this side. The left foot is on the outside of the left hand. You can come down to the knee, right knee, or stay lifted through the right knee. And then rocking and rolling, circling through this side, opening up through this hip. Breathing slowly and deeply, just moving slowly. Unwinding through this side, noticing if it's any different from the other side. If it's any different today than on another day. Then walk that left foot in, bring the left hand to frame it, and then shoot it out a little forward. So it's coming straight forward. Walk the right hand out long, plant the right hand down, and lift up through the left hand and twist open towards the left. Take a breath to let the left ribs reach up to the sky. And exhale, bring that left hand back down, walk the right hand back to center. And then we'll slide the left foot back through the low lunge. And then walk the left foot over towards the right hand. We'll get situated for our pigeon on this side. Prop yourself up as comfortable as you can. Sinking the hips down and bringing the left foot either all the way in to this right thigh or walking it out a little bit, whatever is most comfortable in your hip. grabbing whatever props you've got to make this comfortable. Set up for success. So we can keep the hips level by propping something up under that left hip. And then you can stay up on the hands again. Or you can come down onto the forearms, onto a block. And take a few breaths on this side in your pigeon. Rotating the right inner thigh inward. And relax through the jaw, relax through the belly. Take a few more breaths wherever you're at in your pigeon today. And slowly begin to walk yourself back up if you were folded forward. Sliding the left knee back to our tabletop. And rocking the hips a little side to side. Maybe even making little hip circles, letting the hips drop down in the front. And bringing it to stillness for a moment. To curl the toes under and lift the hips back. Downward facing dog. Let's take one breath here, shake out the head, the shoulders. And then walk the feet up to meet the hands. Back to our forward fold. Drop the head, widen through the low back. And slowly begin to roll up, dragging the hands up the thighs, up the legs, until you come all the way to standing. Roll the shoulders up and back. And as we meet here, find our mountain pose first. And then we'll do our tree pose for a little balance today. So as you're ready, taking any last little movements here before we ground into the left foot. And then feel the left foot rooted down, big toe, pinky toe, heel, and begin to lift up the right over to the side. In a kickstand or to the calf or above or below the knee. Someplace for your tree today. And once you find your lower body balance, we'll bring the hands to the heart or reach them up overhead. Take a few breaths here, finding a focal point in front of you. Lifting through the navel, relaxing through the jaw. One more breath. As you exhale, slowly lower everything down and give it a good shake. A little rolling through the wrists, feet, ankles. And then when you're ready, we'll bring it back to stillness and ground through the right foot, pressing down into our triangle on the right foot. Big toe, pinky toe, heel. And then taking the left foot out to a kickstand out wide. And then to the calf or the thigh, somewhere above or below the knee. And find your tree on this side. Take a few breaths. Finding your focus. And exhale, slowly bring it all down. Shake it all out. As you're ready, we'll bring it on down. Take as much time as you need to shake and shimmy and wiggle. And then we'll bring it all the way down onto all fours. Find a table first. And then we'll walk the hands forward. We'll come all the way down onto the belly. Bring the hands in front of you, making a little pillow for your forehead. Let the forehead rest. Maybe even on fists, if you double up your fists, or onto flat palms, whichever is the most comfortable for your neck. As you inhale, lift the right foot and leg, and just let the right leg hover. Take a breath. With your next exhale, bend the right knee, keeping it lifted up off the mat as much as possible. Keep the knee lifted. We'll take another breath here. Exhale, lower the right knee, lower the right foot all the way down. We'll do the left side next. Inhale, lift up through the left foot, the left knee, left leg lifts. With your next breath, bend through the left knee, keeping the left knee lifted up off the ground. And then as you exhale, lower the left knee and lower the left foot. We'll do one more on each side. So with your breath, inhale, lift through the right leg. Exhale, bend the right knee, keeping it lifted, hovering over the mat. Exhale, lower the whole right leg. Inhale, lift the left leg. Exhale, bend the left knee, keeping it lifted and hovering. Your next exhale, lower the whole left leg down. As you inhale, next lift both legs up. Exhale, bend both knees, keeping both knees, the kneecaps hovering up over the mat. With your next exhale, lower both feet down. And take a breath here. Allow the low back to expand for a moment and come back to neutral. And bring the hands back to your rib cage and press up through all fours. Then take the hips to the heels and sink back into child's pose. Taking the knees out wide, touch. And take a few breaths here. And then press back up onto all fours. And find your way to seated with your legs out long in front of you, however is comfortable for you to get there. And bring the hands to the backs of the thighs and use that to draw the chest forward. Keeping the ears in line over the shoulders and then letting the shoulders just glide down comfortably, but reaching the heart towards the knees, and keep that really flat back as we start to tip back and lift the toes and come into boat pose. You can have bent knees, or you can work to straighten through the knees. You can just keep them bent. We'll take a breath here. In your boat pose, option here to bring the arms forward and lift forward, reaching forward towards the toes, or keep them hugged up under the thighs. We'll take another breath in your boat variation. A couple of options to explore. And then roll all the way forward, bring the feet back down, and just gently round forward, letting the shoulders melt down to the side. And then come back. Reach the hands forward, and we'll start to slowly lower down, all the way down onto the back, through the low back first, mid back, and then dropping the head and the hands. And take a breath to sink and adjust, reconfigure. And bring the knees into the chest. Rock a little side to side here. Take just a moment to get a little massage for the back. And take the hands out wide to a T and drop the knees over towards the right. You can shift the hips a little to the left. Take a few breaths here, maybe taking the head over to look towards the left, if that feels supportive. Take a few breaths here. On your next exhale, draw the knees back to center, lift the hips. Slide them over to the right slightly, then drop the knees to the left. Maybe looking to the right. Take a few breaths on this side. Your next exhale, draw the knees back to center. Lift the hips back to neutral. And bring the hands down comfortably alongside you. Take any last movements here, any rocking or twisting or rotating. Anything else that you need to help you find stillness in our resting pose. Gently begin to slide the feet down. Let the feet flop open and the hands flop open. And snuggling the shoulder blades together gently. Connect back with your breath. Using the breath as your anchor, your guide.
Thoughts will come. Allow them to float on by like the clouds floating along in the sky. Each time you notice that you've lost track of your breath, just come back to it and follow the rise and fall of your belly. Slowly begin to deepen the breath. Bring gentle movement back to the fingers and the toes. Gradually making the movements larger, a little bit larger, until you're ready to bring both knees up. Rolling onto one side. Take a breath here to just acknowledge your breath and your body and the time you took today to nurture yourself, and trusting that it's valuable. As you're ready, press yourself up to seated. And take a breath. Notice how you feel.